I'm Megan Bennett.
I'm Lesley Meyer.
And this is Gen X Women Are Sick of This Shit. Hi, Lesley.
Hi, Megan.
How are you?
I'm great. How are
I'm
you?
glad. I'm good. I'm good.
I like your sweatshirt.
Thank you. It's a social distortion
I
sweatshirt.
just noticed that. It's very cool.
Thank you.
Where did you get that social distortion sweatshirt?
Got it at a concert this summer.
Nice.
It was like 100 degrees when I bought it, and I was like, I'm never going to wear that. And then I was like, oh shit, it's December. I'm going to wear it all the time.
It's like a future present.
It was. I bought it for myself.
You buy it and you put it away because it's just seasonally not appropriate, and then you rediscover it, and it's
and
magic.
I was very happy when I did because it's big, warm, like
it's
fuzzy.
awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
I love Social D.
Me too.
Reminds me of high school.
And Mike Ness was gone for a while for surgery. He had like vocal cord issues.
Oh shit!
So this was him back on tour, and he sounded fantastic. So it was really
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Oh, that's gotta feel good.
Mm-hmm.
We're here today to do a podcast episode.
Are you from Minnesota?
Yep.
Well,
Just now.
hello, I'm from Minnesota.
Just today. It is Sunday.
It is. It's a Sunday in December.
Mm-hmm. And it is a wet one. It is not a snowy one.
I'm okay with that.
Mixed blessings.
Hmm.
Rained like crazy. I know. You hate the cold.
I don't like it.
And the snow.
I do.
My
Don't
rule
like
for
it.
the snow is if we're going to have snow, it has to be so much snow that it shuts everything down and nobody can leave. It
Okay.
like has to erase all obligations.
I'm cool with that as long as the next day it's 84 degrees
Right.
and it immediately
it's just
all melts.
gone. That's the problem.
I'm okay
is
with
that, like you get the like melty gray,
Oh, the black
sludgy,
snow?
and everybody's living their lives, but it's cold and miserable and it freezes every night.
Yeah.
So that is the downside.
Right. Well, and I don't have all-weather tires on my car yet. I didn't do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got my summer tires on. I'm like, please don't get cold. Like
What are you
cold, because I can't drive my car then.
Oh no!
Yeah. I'll
'Cause
slide everywhere. It's
Oh
like,
no!
it's not a good thing. So I was able to get here because it was warm enough.
Oh, nice. That's good. So when it gets cold,
I'll
sorry,
just have to phone it in.
fuck it, Megan's stuck. Can't do shit.
Lesley will be doing the podcast all by herself.
No podcast, kids. No, we'll get on. We'll do it on Riverside.
Yeah, we could do it.
If it gets
we
super
could do a
snowy.
little video thing, sure.
Yeah, it'll be at least a novelty.
That would be fun.
Today's episode is, because it's going to take a minute before we get to it, is a very Gen X holiday.
Very Gen X holiday.
That is the topic/theme. But before we get into that, we have some of our regular shit
that we need to talk about.
Yep. Today's bullshit and hot goss, ma'am.
Well, we were talking about fashion.
Yes.
I think there.
The 2024 return of 80s fashion.
80s
as
fashion.
if it is something new.
Right, because what's old is new again.
Absolutely.
And, like things that are out there in the world that we were like, why is this back?
Yep.
Like why are stirrup pants back?
Oh my God.
Like they were not good then.
No.
They should not be back.
And functionally, like stirrup pants solved a problem, right? That just doesn't exist anymore. Like holding the kind of black stretchy pants down because there was not athleisure as we know it now.
You didn't have the cuff thing, right?
So there was like spandex, Jane Fonda workout clothes.
Yeah.
And then this was sort of a move into casual.
Right.
But it was like, oh, good golly, how do we get these to stay down? What are we going to do about it? And it was kind of a like also a ballet kind of crossover.
Okay,
which
yeah.
was insanely popular in the 80s.
Because then you could
I was
put your
required to take ballet at school.
Oh, that's cool.
But there was like this like because the shoes and the tights and the whole thing, like that's what it reminded me of.
And you could wear your leg warmers over them.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, which I guess was another reason for stirrup pants. But look at that ad.
So here's the thing about stirrup pants. That
what was the point?
This is what bothers me about them.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't mind them if you're wearing boots.
Sure. There we go. Picture 4 shows
so
the straps and boots.
We've got an old stirrup pants ad pulled up. So if you're gonna wear them with boots and you don't see the dumb stirrup part,
absolutely
fine. But the fact that you could always see like the dumb stirrup part, and people would wear socks
Oh, yeah.
And then the stirrups over them.
Yes, there we go. Yep. Picture
What
bold.
What the fuck?
Bear.
It's just ugly.
Over the shoes.
Oh, no.
Yep.
No.
So was this also like a horse girl thing where they like, oh, look, we could make stirrups.
And well, because equestrian stuff was hot, right?
Sure.
Like all that, and those equestrian boots, like the really tall, flat boots.
Yep. Absolutely.
To make you look like you were going to leave high school and go hop on your horse and ride it
Which
English
everybody
style.
did. Fucking yeah, of course.
Go to ride my
horse. But functionally, there's no reason for them today. Like your pants stay down.
I'm not sure there was reason back then. Like they just looked dumb. But yeah, so why are they back?
That's a great question.
And are people going to wear them over the shoe like that?
I think so.
Or with flats.
With a hot ballet flat, which everybody had to have. It does make me think of, though, like, what was it like for, like, my grandmother because there was this obsession, do you remember, in maybe, like, grade school, elementary school, like for Halloween, you would wear like poodle skirts, or they would do sock hops at school, and everybody would dress up like it was the 50s.
Right.
But it was only
have saddle shoes
30 years later. And
right.
So at least, I mean, this is, I guess, the same thing.
Kind of, yeah.
And she would just be like, why are you wearing all of that? It's so old.
I just want to smack the stirrup pants off of people. Those are just not, shouldn't have to come back.
We're sorry. We're sorry they ever existed.
Dear Gen Z, we're sorry.
Apologize. The other big one is shoulder pads.
Yeah. And functionally, if you're wearing like a really nice jacket, a little shoulder pad.
Need a little structure in there.
Right. Structure. Not Carrington style dynasty giant ass shoulder pads.
We have shelves.
Right.
They're like
unnecessary.
It's so you're intimidating. It's so your shoulders are like this
Made your
big.
waist look way skinnier.
Truth. There we go. Wow. That's not exactly. That is a kind of shoulder.
Producer Tim pulled up motorcycle shoulder. Yeah, look at that. Alexis Carrington jacket.
There you go.
Damn, son.
And they do. I mean, this is a total, you're right, that triangle shape, like women were.
Yeah, you were very triangular. Yeah. Made your waist look really, really skinny.
That's the truth. The bigger the shoulders, the smaller your waist, I guess. There we go. Amazing. So those are back and hot, and I have not a single one. I've thrown them all away, and I can't imagine ever putting one on. I just can't. Have you? I mean, other than like maybe a nice jacket. I haven't
bought anything like work style clothes in so long.
Can you
like
imagine?
Everything I own is sort of slouchy sweaters and whatever. Yeah. So no. But I did see them. I had to go to Macy's for some reason, and there was tons of jackets that had giant shoulder pads.
This fall is all about the 80s suit. The power suit. Only if they come with a giant fluffy tie, because women couldn't wear like ties, so they made the giant bows.
Those Peter Pan collars and the big bows and all that stuff. Yeah, not great.
There we go. So that's some
it's coming back, y'all.
Hot gossip bullshit.
Buckle up.
For sure.
I did see parachute pants at a TJ Maxx.
Oh, no shit.
No shit. Like on the rack, and even labeled parachute pants. And the material's different. It's not the same. And they didn't have the zippers. Because you remember all the parachute pants had all the Michael Jackson type zippers on all of them.
And if they were high end, they had pockets. And if they weren't like mine, they just had zippers.
They looked like they had pockets decorative. And they were just sort of sewn, but they weren't open like real pockets.
Yes.
Yeah, the parachute pant material is different than what it used to be, which is probably good because
swish, 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 swish.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and I remember I wanted parachute pants.
The
so
nylon
bad.
Ones on eBay. That eBay picture. Do you see that? In our far right.
Yep. Oh yeah, all the way to the black ones.
Right.
Yep, that's exactly.
Those are the parachute pants
with the zippers.
80s men's vintage. Yep, that was totally it.
Absolutely, I wanted those
and breakdancing
so bad. And I ended up having two pairs.
Ooh,
I had a pair of black ones and I had a pair of gray ones.
Oh man, and were hardcore.
It was a hard road to get my parents and my grandma to buy me a pair of parachute pants.
What did you have to do?
I just I just begged for them forever and
begged.
finally got them. They were the hottest thing I've ever had on my body. It was like not hot, like warm. But physically warm. Yes. Okay. Like sweating in them immediately.
Sure.
And of course, wearing them in the summertime because
it doesn't matter.
Because it doesn't matter because your
season is irrelevant
dumb
to
kid.
Fashion.
And then I rode them while riding I wore them while riding my bike, and I fell off my bike and tore them. And if you like the slightest little scuff to those, and they're toast. Like there's no way to patch them.
Right.
So they were
because they're basically plastic.
Yeah. So I ruined. I think it was the gray pair. Anyway,
that's
very
tragedy.
sad. I know.
I'm sorry. R.I.P. parachute pants.
R.I.P. parachute pants. So yeah, the material's not the same. They don't seem to have all of the snazzy pockets that they used to have. But
do you think this was the precursor to cargo pants?
Probably.
I'm looking at your little pockets.
Oh, I am wearing cargo pants today.
Which
probably
the greatest 90s invention ever because you didn't have to have a purse.
No, pockets are important.
They are.
Women love pockets.
Carry all of our shit. You could just toss your ID in there and go out, and there was no need for anything else.
Well, and the recurrence now of big wide leg pants makes me so happy. Like I'm a short girl. I shouldn't wear them. I just look like a tree trunk when I wear them, but I don't care. I love them. They were wide ass jeans and those parachute, like those cargo pants. So cool.
It was hard to let them go out of the 90s. Like when millennials started pushing skinny jeans, I was just like, those look so fucking dumb.
And
so
uncomfortable.
It took like a decade for me to get used to seeing them. And then I finally bought some and I'm like, oh, these are fine. And then within like 3 years, they switched. Yeah. And now it's those again. And it's so weird how fashion changes and your brain is like, oh, that looks weird. But literally you wore it for 10 years.
I had a couple pairs of those big wide leg pants and I kept them and would wear them, fly that in the face of fashion. Right. Fuck you, fashion. You can't tell me what to do.
I'm wearing these
and
pants.
I'm wearing these pants. And so I would absolutely wear them. But you couldn't find new pairs. Like they just didn't make them. Yep. So now I'm just excited that they're back again. So I can, I guess, hoard them like a squirrel until they go out of fashion and wear them again.
Oh, and low waist is back, which is normal waist on a short person like me. High waist.
Right. Can't do high waist.
My titties. And every freaking pair of jeans is high waisted.
Yes.
What is that shit about?
I can take a mid waist. I can take a low rise. And that's about it. High waist stuff. Don't understand it.
No. Like who are you people with mile long torsos that have all the room for high waisted anything?
Yeah. Pretty jealous of that.
It's bizarre.
So other pictures on here, there's some Hammer Time pants that keep popping up too.
For
Look
sure.
At those. Like
wow. Those pants were literally a parachute. Like you could just jump from a plane.
MC Hammer's
and
pants.
Harem pants.
Didn't really have a crotch.
No. I mean, anything could be in there. A water bottle, snacks, bacon.
It does hide, whether or not he was super well endowed. We'll never know. Unlike Kill Gerard, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Oh,
no hiding that shit.
Perfect time for a transition. Let me just wake up my computer again.
So funny.
Oh, on Hot Goss and BS, we also talk about who died this week. And this week, we learned about the death of
Tom Christopher. So Tom Christopher was born in 1940, died in 2024, just on December 5th. If that name doesn't ring a bell.
Because it didn't to us right away.
Right. That don't be surprised. He wasn't a huge prolific actor, but he was a soap actor in One Life to Live for a while.
Yeah,
played a bad
started
guy.
in 1968.
Played a bad guy, but his I was going to say award-winning performance.
What he's famous to us for.
But I don't think it was award-winning. He played Hawkman in Buck Rogers.
Yes. Buck Rogers in the 25th century, which started in 1979. So I was 6, and it was in the space genre.
Yes.
Also right before Star Wars came out.
It was on TV. It was the Battlestar Galactica era.
Absolutely.
So post original Star Wars and Battlestar Galactica came your weekly hit of space
Space sexiness.
Space sexiness. The half an hour of Buck Rogers, who was time warped into the 25th century from the 20th century. With
because we
Twiggy
knew
the
it was
robot.
going to take 5 centuries to get to the fashion that's in this show.
There's some good fashion in this show.
And
lots of satin.
And the chest hair was going to be exactly the same. And he played Hawk. Hawk, I think it's...
Tom Christopher played Hawkman, which I think he must have had like another name. Like I'm sure the character had a name.
When it popped up, it just said Hawk right there.
Okay.
He was in 11 episodes, and you said he was like a nemesis.
Yeah, he started out as a nemesis. This is just my memory.
Deep dive. Tell me all the
so
things.
I'm trying really hard to remember this, but I first of all had a little crush as a kid. I was 8.
Was kind of foxy.
8? I was 9. 8 when it came out.
Foxy.
I kind of thought he was hot.
You were into feathers.
I don't know why I was into feathers. But he started out as a bad guy, and they were against each other, and then something happened, and I can't remember what that was, but some turn of events happened, and he became Hawkman, and Buck Rogers became buddies. And I don't know, we're
in the 25th century.
In the 25th
where
century.
there were birdmen. Like that. Look at that.
Isn't that intense?
Cap. Look at the like moss person behind him.
Look at the chest plate happening there.
That's what. Well, they had to carve it that way so all the muscles could fit. Otherwise, in the 25th century,
I'm gonna need this to be
your muscles
more like
can't fit in your clothes.
More like my chest.
It does have. Oh gosh, what was that movie that had the word hawk in it?
Lady Hawk.
It has Lady Hawk vibes. Just the like headgear and the like shoulder kind of stole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that
we
movie.
could talk about Lady Hawk anytime you want. That movie is so good.
We
can't go down that road.
I was like, what about Krull? We should talk about Krull.
Oh no, we're going to talk about all that stuff later. We've got to have a whole other episode about that.
Be still. Brain. Okay, fine.
Anyway, so Tom Christopher, like I said, if you don't remember him,
Go find Buck Rogers.
Go find Buck Rogers and have a couple looks at. I think it's on Tubi actually. I think you can like stream old Buck Rogers episodes.
The fashion is fucking epic. Truly.
Oh, and Buck Rogers so good.
The costumes are so good.
And Erin Gray was so pretty. She was Wilma. What the fuck?
Gorgeous.
They gave her the name Wilma.
Well, they wanted to like sex her down a little bit. Like Wilma's not a hot name, and then you have Erin Gray and
Wilma. They were like, what's going to be a hot name in 2025?
Wilma.
Or 20.
It was hot in the Flintstones.
Whatever it was.
Why won't it be hot in the 25th century?
25th century.
2500s.
What's old is new again, I guess. Like fucking stirrup pants
around.
Stirrup pants.
Yeah,
and
right.
Wilma.
Here we go. And Wilma. The clothes are pretty incredible.
It definitely has a Star Trek vibe, even though producer Tim is probably staring at me in a very angrily manner,
but
with
a 70s twist,
right? Yes, it was like,
but the chest hair is about the same.
But Buck Rogers definitely was channeling his inner William Shatner, I think. So
there was like a sucking in chest off photo contest that happened there.
Hot.
We should do a side by side comparison and analysis of William Shatner, and Gil Gerard.
I like it.
I don't know. We can keep going on this, but maybe we should switch. So, one segment that is the favorite for both you and I is what shit are we sick of today?
Shit that we are sick of. Golly, I'm telling you what, we stayed up too late last night.
Mm-hmm.
It was rough.
We didn't know it. Unbeknownst to both of us, we were separately up late doing ridiculous things.
So what we are sick of. I think we were going to talk. What were we going to talk about, Lesley? We were going to talk about like just generally the holiday stress. Right?
Yes. Holidays, holiday obligations versus holiday traditions, and what's kind of the line between like a tradition and an obligation? How do you know when that changes? And then navigating the holidays throughout different ages.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were kind of talking about memories of holidays as kids where everything seems like super fun and you're just sort of like lugged around and things just happen to you. And then as you get older, like, did anybody ever say, hey, what do you want the holidays to be like?
No,
versus
they didn't.
This is what the holidays
as a kid
are.
No, you didn't get to weigh in.
No. And did it occur to anybody that you could do things differently?
No, I don't think so. I think there was just tradition, and you just did
this
these
is
things.
What we do.
And then sometimes you had to do things because, you know, in the case of like divorce, for example, right? You like, you know, you sort of were thrust into a new way of doing things.
Multiple households, multiple grandparent households. But it's stressful. I mean, I think it's like a source of emotional distress for people. There's a lot of like kind of guilt or
definitely
frustration, feeling unappreciated, and like, why am I doing these things when it seems like we're just doing them to do them, and we're going through the motions and nobody's really like excited about it. And so how do you have that conversation or decide?
The Facebook group is full of posts right now. So for those of you who are listening, who are not a member of our Facebook group, we have a big Facebook group with 450,000 Gen X women all across the world.
People.
And we see a lot of the posts that come. We see all the posts that come through, and there's a lot of conversation happening right now because it's right around the holidays of people who are feeling that exact feeling, like, why? My kids are out of the house. They're already gone. Why am I taking all of this time and energy to decorate? Like, I'm not happy with, like, I'm not in the Christmas spirit. I'm not feeling it. Why do I do all this stuff? And it's like, you feel guilty, I guess, if you don't put the tree up. You know, you feel like you have to. And that's kind of, I mean, that's a bummer if you feel that way, because it just adds that pressure to like, now I have to be in the Christmas spirit. God damn it.
We're going to force your feelings.
Else. Right.
Well, and I think it's an interesting like phenomenon, because during the holidays, more than maybe any other time of the year, depending on whether your holidays are like faith-based or just tradition-based or whatever, the family hierarchy suddenly comes back into play more than ever. So if you happen to have grandparents or great-grandparents and your parents are still living, like, you are put in the position of child, even though you're in your fucking 50s.
Right. Yeah.
Or your late 40s, and you are not a child anymore. You are an adult.
No, but
and
you
this
still
should
have
be
to
a
do all the
negotiation.
things. Yeah.
You know, and that's a conversation that I have with lots of people as a therapist, but it's also a conversation that we've just had. I'm like, we're grown. Like, we don't have to do this. And our families are retired. Like, our parents are retired. We love them all. They have much more flexible lives than
they
we do.
Come to us.
And I have that conversation with lots of people, especially when they like have kids, like younger families, and they have kids and they're like, oh, we're driving everywhere. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
You have to pack up the whole house.
Right.
It is okay to have an intentional conversation about changing the way that things are
and
done.
you might, there's probably going to be resistance, right? If your mom has always been, I'm always the one who decorates. I'm always the one who cooks Christmas, you know, dinner or whatever. I'm always your Christmas stocking is here. So by God, you need to bring, it's here. So it's not there. You have to come here to get your Christmas stocking, you know, or whatever that looks like. But you may have some pushback of people who are like, God damn it, this is my tradition.
This is what we do. And it's really upsetting. And you also might find out that your family members are doing things out of what they believe is an emotional obligation to you because they want to keep things the same for you. And practically just nobody's having the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
for sure.
Everyone makes assumptions and believes things and they don't talk about it on purpose. So it's like, cool, let's just sit down and what do we want this to look like?
Right.
Like, it's okay to have that conversation. I think that's super important because, you know, it could be fun.
It could be.
You could make it better.
Yeah.
If you have all of that stuff. And then I think the other side of that coin is folks who don't have much family, are kind of isolated, maybe don't feel like they have a lot of people that they could spend time with. And it's this obligation that way, like where they're seeing a lot of things happen. It feels like you should be you would like to maybe be more connected and in community. And it's really sad that you're not. So it's all hard.
Yeah, it is. And this we all know. I mean, we've all seen the stats. This time of year is hard on people for so many reasons.
Yeah.
You look back, you've got stronger memories of people that have passed.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, if like
Absolutely.
you lost your mom or dad this last year, like this holiday is going to be hard. Like you need to take time for yourself and be good to yourself, and and ask for help if you need it.
Yeah, for sure. And you don't have to put up a single damn decoration.
You don't have to.
You can sit around and watch.
Go to the movies. Oh my God, we used to go to the movies on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Because it was like nobody was there, and you could go watch like back to back movies if you wanted to. Yeah. Take yourself to the movies. Take yourself on vacation.
Yes.
Do something completely different and new if you want to.
Change it up.
Yep.
It's important to feel supported in that, I think.
Yeah, it's hard.
So I guess in summary, the thing that we're sick of is just like the obligational part.
Yeah.
And being able to kind of suss out the difference between like traditions that sort of bring you joy
and traditions that you feel like you have to do, and whether that's
doing them to do them without having an intentional conversation about it.
Yeah. So. I think I mentioned to you earlier, I can't remember the last year that I felt like I was truly in just full on the Christmas spirit, and I'm use quotation fingers, right? Because I'm not sure what being in the Christmas spirit really means, but I think it's like looking forward to the whole experience.
Sure.
And like that little childlike joy, I guess, that we used to have as kids when like, oh, Christmas is coming.
Yes.
I can't remember the last time, probably when my daughter was still living at home and, younger, and did all the shopping for her and did all the Santa stuff. Yeah. That might have, probably back then.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know.
So then what would create that vibe for you as an adult? Like what things in your life bring you like anticipatory joy?
Vacations absolutely do that for me. So, and I think the fact that my daughter will be home this year, so I'm looking forward to seeing her. There's elements of it that I like, but I guess maybe I'm a little nostalgic and I miss that feeling of, oh, it's Christmas.
Yep.
I love Christmas. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. The hardest thing I had to do was just like not break into my Christmas presents.
Right.
Like for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which I got really good at with like a little razor blade and some Scotch tape.
Were you a sneaker like that?
Hell yeah.
Were you really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
If it was under the tree,
it was fair game.
Game on, buddy.
Damn.
I'm going to figure out what that. I hated not knowing. I don't really like surprises.
Okay. So
mostly because I just don't have any poker face, and I will disappoint you if I don't like it.
Oh, sucks. Fucking sucks.
It's best to like have the intentional conversation, and then I feel bad because I have no poker face. I can't fix that for you, nor can I fix it for me. So if I know there was some measure of like being able to like prepare myself.
Lesley, you are an actress. You can act like you were really excited about something.
Yeah, so I could prep a little bit, and I kind of knew, and I could like turn myself emotionally around. This comes from 2 very direct experiences.
Okay.
I know exactly where this came from. When I was young, my brother was not born yet, so I had to be under 4.
Okay.
And it was my birthday. It might have been Christmas. One of those 2 exciting times where I could not contain my excitement, and I would like beg to get a Christmas present or a present in advance.
Okay.
And so my parents sent me on like a scavenger hunt through our house. We used to live like kind of over in Nora. We had like a little 2-bedroom bungalow
north
by
of
the
Indianapolis.
River. And I went on, and the scavenger hunt was so fun, and I was so excited. I was so fucking hyped to like get this present. Like it was going to be the best present ever.
It was socks.
And I opened this present, and theoretically, it was a wonderful gift. My folks did not account for the fact that I was like a 4-year-old. child.
Okay. Yeah.
Who, yes, loved something. There's a particular theme here, but I probably should have been given a toy.
Oh, yeah.
So they bought me and had framed this wonderful print of Bert and Ernie and Cookie Monster. Do you remember this? Because I've gifted this to one of my son's friends because I've had it for 47 years, 46 years. So I find this thing. It was hidden under my bed the whole time. It was wrapped. I pull it out. I tear the wrapping paper off. I am like so excited. Within seconds, sobbing, inconsolable.
No.
My parents are so disappointed.
Oh.
There was no fixing it. Like it was, I remember, even as I tell the story, I can feel it in my chest. But it was like a thing I had to like. So like literally, I gifted it to one of my son's friends probably 3 years ago, to Jackson. He has it. He loved it. He took it home. I don't know if it's still in his room. I don't care what happens to it after that. But he loved it. And he was like, yeah, I fucking want that. And I was like, great. It is
Here
yours,
is your Bert
buddy.
and Ernie and Cookie Monster
And
print.
it's so sweet. And it was so thoughtful. But for like a tiny child, it was.
Yeah, for a 4-year-old, it better be Fisher Price something or other.
And it was
that you
so
can play with.
hyped,
Yeah.
right? Like the scavenger hunt, and you're getting warmer and you're getting colder, and I'm like internally building all this excitement.
It's probably a big parental mistake. For
sure.
Like,
I can't even imagine the conversations that they had.
Like,
after
oh
that.
my God, we ruined our Christmas.
Really, and they were young parents.
Yeah.
Like
we broke our baby
situation. But I think that is the origin of me like, no, I'll just pick out what I want at school. Like, I don't want surprises.
Oh my
to
God.
this day.
It is a whole
To this day, it is a thing of, I tried recently to give her a surprise gift.
Uh-huh.
And it turned out beautifully.
It did.
It was such a beautiful, thoughtful gift.
Yeah.
It was for our 10-year anniversary.
However, when I first told her about it, because I had to because of like finances and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And she goes, why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
Well, it can't be this.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like, well, that's everything.
And I was like,
She's like, I can't act like if I don't like
said,
you're
you
gonna know.
have to brace yourself for me not loving this thing that you put so much thought into.
Oh my God.
And I will understand that it was very thoughtful. And I had some like hope because I knew who had recommended the jeweler. One of our good friends recommended the jeweler. And I was like, okay, she kind of knows my vibe. Like it might be fine. And I even like wavered on this is a side quest. And I wavered on you even taking it. We went away for a weekend.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't bring it on the weekend because I don't want that to it to ruin our weekend because I don't want you to feel bad.
It's a thing, man.
And so
it's a big thing.
You ended up like giving it to me beforehand.
Yeah.
In some very like boring, subtle way.
Because
and it was beautiful.
Ultimately,
it was super hip. It was
think
like a really cool bracelet.
Found that's how you prefer to handle these situations. You don't want to build up.
Nope.
So,
just hand it to me and be like, here, I got this for you.
Just
I'd be like, oh great, that's good.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And it's
Lesley.
like it was a big deal. And it was a wonderful
So at some
gift.
point we'll have to have a conversation about how you proposed to her because
no. There was no proposal.
No.
This was a very nuts and bolts practical conversation.
It was brokered peace. Treaties were signed.
It was very practical. There was no. It would have been a mess. We're going to come back from this side quest right now, though.
Okay. All right.
Because what we're talking about is Christmas and
but that's good.
Christmas traditions and oh God, had we segued? I can't fully find my way back on this path. What prompted this beginning of this story?
Let's take a breather here real quick and then we can jump back in on.
And then we'll start with our like Gen X holiday.
Hey Megan.
Hey Lesley.
It's the holiday season.
Yes, ma'am.
And we here at Gen X Women Are Sick of This Shit happen to have a shop.
We have an Etsy shop. Absolutely.
We do. We have an Etsy shop with merch, some of which you are wearing right now. Adorable things. And we are doing something special this season.
We are, because the world is the world now. We decided that we were going to play our part, do what we can to help support women. And we are donating $1 for a minimum of $1 for every item sold to the Center for Reproductive Freedom.
Yep. And that will go through the end of the month, or?
Yeah, we'll do that through the end of December, and then we'll probably pick another nonprofit for January. But
Yep. And so that'll be a minimum donation of $50. We think it will be more than that, that we'll be making to the Center for Reproductive Freedom.
Yep. So if you are looking for a gift for yourself or for another Gen X woman, check out our Etsy store. And know that we are doing our part to lift up women as much as we can in these trying times.
I should remember the end of what the last thing that we said, but I don't. And here we are. But I do know what we're talking about next.
We are talking about our Gen X Christmas memories, right?
A very Gen X Christmas. And we have some themes that we were going to kind of touch on. We'll see what comes out of this, but our holiday favorites, just like kind of gift giving, getting, any holiday events, holiday traditions, what were things that happened all the time, potentially like recipes. We had 4 generations at one point, so there was that multi-generational vibe, at least on my mom's side of the family. So recipes that maybe only come out during the holidays, foods just during like the Christmas holidays.
Right.
We did all the other ones. Gifts and gift giving. Just what was that process like? Because I know you have some stories.
Oh my gosh.
Cards, holiday cards. Because there's been a
massive
evolution in holiday cards from
are they
the
back?
70s to the I don't
like because it was like nobody does them anymore, right?
I don't. Maybe this is just where we pick up. I'll say this last thing, though.
Okay.
We're also going to talk about decorating.
Okay.
Like holiday decorating through the years.
Right.
Kind of what things look like.
Perfect.
So where do we want to...
Well, let's start with cards.
Cards. Yeah, because that's sort of the signal of the beginning of the season.
Right. Like here it comes because you started getting mail.
Yes.
You get along with all the cool catalogs that you used to get.
Absolutely.
So you could mark up all the toys you wanted in your catalog.
Toy catalogs and cards that would come in the mail.
Right.
And for my grandmother, my great-grandmother... expectation, they sent cards and received cards by the dozens.
Yes. My mom for sure, my grandmother absolutely. When she lived with us, there was always a Christmas card.
Yes.
And my mom was always would always try really hard to find like just the funniest cards.
Oh,
there was never like
awesome. I love that.
Yeah, never like the super traditional like may the spirit of the holiday, blah, none of that. No, It was like the Edward Gorey, like,
oh, yes.
The Edward Gorey fruitcake card is like my favorite of all time.
Oh, Mom.
So anyway, but fun cards.
And they were just like cards, like they just folded. There were no photos. Yeah. Maybe you would include like your kids' school pictures if it was a close family member.
Right.
You'd tuck those in. But then there was like an evolution of cards that happened.
Yeah, they almost became like a family newsletter.
Oh, yeah.
Things, right? That happened.
Multi-page with the invention of the dot matrix printer.
You tear off those little edges.
We all became the recipient of the family newsletter.
A family newsletter.
Those things are awful.
Did you guys do this?
No.
Ever? Did you get them from other people?
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Occasionally we would get them.
My sister has been a family newsletter person. She's done that. And for a while they did them. I feel like they did them multiple times a year.
Oh, wow. Like maybe quarterly updates?
Yeah, like a quarterly update. And then I think it went down to just like the holiday.
Well, that was olden Facebook.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We should just go back to that. I was going to bash family newsletters, but perhaps we should destroy Facebook and just reintroduce the family newsletter.
Let's just blow it up.
And then we'll put all of our money back into the mail service and it'll all be fine.
Yes, I like that. I think that's great.
Let's do it.
Buy some stamps.
Here we go. And then in the 90s was the invention of the family photo card.
Oh, gosh, yes.
The portrait, posed portrait card.
Yep. Shiny on one side and you get the postcard or you'd get it like a postcard in an envelope.
Yes.
Right. Of like, here's your family photo.
Yeah.
You go out in the middle of nowhere during October and get your picture taken
with your
all
matching
together.
fall sweaters,
Right.
and your kids holding cute pumpkins, or you do the fake holiday setup,
Right.
out in the woods
With
also.
a tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Here's our future Christmas tree.
Know what these look like.
Yeah.
And it seems like that was kind of like the beginning of the end. Like we don't get Christmas cards. We have not
get one,
ever sent them.
We get one from our financial advisor. We've gotten one this year
from our insurance agent.
From our financial advisor, and his is a family Christmas like photo card.
Oh,
it was really cool. It was like a self-contained kind of envelope thing. So it folded,
all one
and then a
piece.
sticker, and like you'd open it, and it was all printed in there in one.
So you're not even stuffing envelopes.
No,
anymore.
it's just
My
like print
God,
that
what have
shit
we
off
gotten
and
to?
send it away.
Pop it in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I always wanted so desperately to be a Christmas card person.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I had high hopes.
I want to be able to buy a really cool box of cards.
Yes.
And
I love stationery.
have the ability to write everybody's addresses down and maintain that and keep it.
Yes.
And know that like, oh, this is my aunt's address. And,
yes.
you know, I'm terrible.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely horrible.
There's
at it.
nothing more hopeful and despairing for a person with ADHD than like a fresh blank notebook or a box of cards.
Like, I want to do something with this.
And because it's so exciting.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, these are great. Everybody's going to love them.
I'm going to be so fucking organized.
Yes. And no.
It doesn't happen.
So I've accepted reality. I don't even send.
It's a real bummer. Like, it's a super
emails.
letdown for yourself when you're all excited about it. And then it's like,
yeah. So I don't torture myself that way anymore. We get a couple here and there, but this year's been nothing. But it's also kind of an anti-holiday year because Thanksgiving was so late and Christmas is coming
it
so
did
fast.
happen very quickly.
Okay. I'd be curious about others' holiday card experiences. If this is like a real trend, an ADHD trend,
right?
Or do other people in an alternate universe?
Oh my God!
Send
And if
cards?
you are one of those people who do the cards and every year just like clockwork, you know, you have your list and you sit down and you do it. Oh my God, my hat's off to you.
Absolutely.
And please chime in and let us know because
yes,
I want to celebrate you.
You're a magical person.
You are a magical person.
So there are cards and catalogs, and then we would start the decorating. And decorating in the 70s and early 80s was very different than the things of today. I don't know what it was like for you, but we definitely had a lot of like hard molded plastic outdoor decorations that were probably vintage, would be very vintage
right
now.
So they were probably
60s. Yeah
like, we didn't have the outdoor stuff like really ever.
Okay.
Thinking about it, no outdoor stuff. The indoor stuff for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of tinsel.
Oh yeah, that was before we knew it would kill our cats.
Right. My grandmother loved I think she called them icicles.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it was just, and you'd get them. They came in a big, long box.
Favorite thing
with it was like wrapped in plastic, big long box, and you'd open that up, and then you could take them by the there's a picture.
That's exactly
you take them by the fistful and then sprinkle them over the tree.
Absolutely.
And like fling them
fun
over the tree, and they were everywhere. And I'm going to tell you something gross. Do you want to hear something gross?
Of course,
because you mentioned cats.
Yes.
My poor cat.
Oh no.
So one year my cat was walking through the house after all the tinsel had been put up, and we saw something shiny hanging out of her butt.
No.
Oh yes.
I know where this is going.
And we grabbed it and we pulled it. It kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And thankfully she was fine.
Right.
But I know that's not how you're supposed to handle that.
Probably not.
But
I would not have done that as a young
But I didn't know that
person.
at the time.
Hell no.
So, yeah. So if the tinsel is something that you still use and it's icicles all over your tree, do not pull the thread out of your cat's behind.
And hopefully, if you have cats, you don't. We stopped doing that because of cats. But it does make for a
Do they even
super
make
magical
that anymore?
tree. That's a great question. I don't know.
I don't know if they make it anymore. I haven't either.
The other thing we used to use like crazy were garlands, just like that, like silver floofy. I haven't put a garland on a tree, I don't know, in decades.
No.
Probably at least 2 decades.
No.
I had like a felty one kind of that I bought, but
I like the loop-de-loop with the garland where it like, you know, started and then went
Christmas
down
crayon
and then back
drawing.
up and back down and like, yeah.
That is how you draw a Christmas tree when you're like 5 years old.
Right.
What does
We
it
used
have
to
on it?
do
Garland.
my mom would do different trees. So for when I was really little, she had a white Christmas tree.
Ooh.
And it was bright white and she bought red ornaments.
Oh,
so it had red
lovely.
lights and red ornaments and
Well, hello.
it was very it was avant-garde.
Did you grow up in a bordello?
I know, it seemed very
It's
bordello like.
very sexy.
This is a sexy tree.
Wow, that
For
kid
sure.
got a Christmas haul.
So producer Tim is showing us some photos of the 70s,
Yes.
Christmas 70s photos, and they're pretty fun.
Those are so great. I do remember that. And then lights were different. Like our outdoor lights were like pretty heavy duty glass balls,
Right.
like fragile.
Right. Big and kind of
Very big.
egg-shaped almost, right?
Yes.
Like a little yeah, I loved those. Those were fun. And then you could use those on your tree inside too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And did you, when you were young, did you have real trees or fake trees?
We had fake
Okay.
trees. It wasn't until I met my husband and we were dating and living together that I had my first like real tree.
Okay.
And that was, we would go out when my daughter was little, we would go out the day after Thanksgiving and go hunt our Christmas tree at a Christmas tree farm.
That's cute.
And do that. And then the Christmas tree farm went out of business and we had to like just go to a, you know, landscape place and get it. But
yes.
but yeah, that was tradition, was to go cut down our tree when my daughter was little, but the plastic tree when I was a kid. Yeah. How about you?
We had, when I was little, we always did a real tree. And that was for all of the Christmases up until like probably 10 or 11. We did not go to a Christmas tree farm. We would go to Frank's Nursery and Crafts.
Okay.
In Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yep.
And it was always fucking freezing. And we would like walk through the rows outside and shop for it was a big thing. And the worst part about that was that you had to bring it home and cut the bottom and put it in a bucket of water overnight.
Yep.
So that it would be like
supposedly suck up the water again.
There you go.
Somehow.
So we would get it and then inevitably very anticlimactic as a child because it doesn't go up till the next day. And Dad has to like trim the bottom branches and cut the top and all of that.
Oh,
so
that's
we
a lot of
loved
work.
That.
Yeah.
And then when my grandmother was staying with us more, when my mom was sick, we had to go to a fake tree because she was allergic to Christmas trees, like pine trees. They would just like activate her allergies. So we eventually switched to a synthetic.
Yep.
Which we currently have in our homestead.
Yeah.
But occasionally we will get a real one. Well, one year we got a real one and put it in here. And it's really cute when it's decorated in here. We did not do that this year. It's adorable.
We had a small tree when we moved. It was fairly small, and I want to say it was like 3 days before Christmas or something, and I was looking at that tree and I'm like, this is too small for this room. And so I got online and went to Target, like target.com, and they literally delivered me a tree.
You were like, yes.
It's like, this is a better tree.
We're gonna
And
do
switched
that.
everything over. Did you have, and do you still have, your traditional ornaments for your tree?
No.
Oh no.
Everything is a story of tragedy. Do you want to hear them all?
Oh my gosh.
It's all tragic.
Oh, no.
So we did, when my mom was alive, we had like tons of like vintage ornaments, like things that she had saved. And then all of our stuff that we made as kids, like our tree was piled full of ornaments. But after my mom died, and then a couple of years later, my dad remarried, she threw all that shit away. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
What?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes. There was no
bullshit.
Absolute bullshit. There was no conversation. So a lot of things were lost that would be just really cool to have. But that all just got summarily pitched. And then that next Christmas, it was her Christmas tree with all her shit on it. And we were like,
no, fuck that
cool.
shit. No.
Do you
That
remember the
sucks.
like satin ball ornaments?
Yes.
I love
Yes. And then, over time they would fray. They would get like really frayed.
You would have to get new ones.
Yeah.
The satin ball and then the blown glass. I saw some of them earlier. They're just like kind of had like, those with the like indents.
Yeah. Those are glass ornaments. Yeah. Those were beautiful. And they came in like a bunch of different shapes. So there would be the round ones like that. And then the ones that look like they were kind of bulbs on one end and they would go out to a point.
Yes. I loved that shape.
Yeah. But
there's something
super fragile.
Yep. Absolutely. And when you drop them, they just pop. Like,
yeah.
There's no like rescuing them.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
And I see a couple of pictures of the clay ornament trend. Do you remember when this happened?
Oh, to make your own?
80s and definitely in the 90s where you could have these kind of clay ornaments made with your names.
My mom made the salt dough.
Oh,
so you would make like your own salt dough and then use food coloring. And so she would make and bake ornaments all the time. So there were, and some of them were adorable, like really, really cool. I'll have to get her recipe on salt dough.
Oh, that's great.
So fun. And she made tons of them that way and would give them away. Like that would be like a fun, like,
I love it.
Little Christmas gift to give away.
But there was a whole swath of those that came on to Christmas trees.
Yep. That would be like an 80s thing.
Those right?
Like,
the satin balls.
The satin balls were really cool.
They're great.
Yeah.
I wonder if they still make
those old, super shiny, really fragile glass ornaments.
Mm-hmm.
I remember from my great grandmother's tree.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know, like we had a ton of them. And I think when my mom and my grandmother moved to Hawaii, my grandmother, I mean, I mentioned this before, that garage sale.
Yep. Heartbreak.
So many things, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the ornaments and stuff went that way. I still have a few of the old ornaments, not very many, and I don't put them on the tree because I'm a little afraid.
Sure,
so a lot of those just sit in boxes. And I think my mom still has a number of the old ornaments too.
Aw, I love that stuff.
Do you remember bubble lights?
Yes,
you guys ever do bubble lights?
I was just thinking about those. I did not know about those until like the 90s when I got married the first time.
Yeah.
And it was like a conversation. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then we found some and I was like, oh, those are great. They're super cute.
Yeah, they get really freaking hot. But they're really cool.
They were on the tree or you can get like a little plug-in. Now I like try to buy my kids an ornament every year, just sort of like based on the theme of something they liked that year. So they'll have a bunch of stuff that they'll like take with them. And then the way that I remember what I've done during the year, like places I visited, I just buy an ornament for every place I go.
Oh, that's very cool.
Because if it doesn't exist in real life, I will absolutely forget that I've done
and your coffee mugs and your ornaments.
Yep. And I have so many coffee mugs. The ornaments are a nice substitute.
You could hang the coffee mugs on the tree.
I'd need a really sturdy tree. I could. And
then I would
remember all my stuff.
Was there anything that went under the tree traditionally that was always under the tree?
Like a skirt?
Like either a skirt, like a specific skirt, or like a nativity. Like some people have nativity scenes. Some people have like there was a brass. What was it? I want to say it was brass, maybe. Santa and sleigh and reindeers that was under the tree, probably at my great grandma's house.
Right on.
Anyway, but it was always there, and that would be the one thing when you went to visit that you'd pull out of the tree and like play with,
Yes.
Even though it was a decoration, it was also a toy.
Yes, and it was just there for you. Not at our house, but I always wanted to be one of those like TV movie families that had the train that went around and around and around the tree. We were not that.
Jeff's mom and dad had a train for many years.
Did they?
Like, yeah, and they went around the tree. I don't know if they still do it or not, but yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So cards, decorations.
Did you do mantles? Like Christmas mantles and stockings and the whole shebang?
We did have stockings for sure. And we do stockings today, and we kind of decorate with like.
Do you have the same sock that you had from?
No. Mine was like the standard kind of red and white with your glitter name on the white part.
Okay.
That had been purchased in the 70s from someplace.
Yep.
I don't know if we went and did. It could have been at Lazarus where we went to the Christmas fiesta.
Yeah.
And my name was that. But it was something that I had when I was really young. And those lasted as long as they could. And I think at some point, like, it was probably given to me, but it was really old.
Yeah.
And then I tried to repeat the same thing kind of in the 90s, but then we finally have replaced with like initial stockings. So everybody has kind of matching stuff.
Yeah, we had do you remember the kits? Maybe you don't, but there were these really fun kits that you could get. They were like, it was felt. So there were 2 felt pieces and like all of these like sequins and little decorations and stuff, and you had to hand sew your stocking.
Cute.
And some of them had like Rudolph on them or Santa on them or whatever.
Yeah.
But they were these like, they came in a sewing kit.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother would make those. And so she made, I remember having one for me. I remember my sister having one. I think mine had a reindeer on it and hers had Santa on it, I think, or a snowman.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, super cool kits, but that was like so uber 70s, like very much a 70s thing. And then when that stocking unfortunately is long gone, but when my husband and I got together, we got 2 all sequined stockings. They're very flashy, super flashy. And then when Gillian was born, when our daughter was born, we were like, well, shit, we have to have a sock for her. I need one that has glitter all over it or like the sequins all over it. Couldn't find it. Like couldn't find one. So I found one of those sewing kits and my mother-in-law and I worked on it together and it has tons of sequins all over it. So that's her sock.
Sweet.
So it's a little different than ours, but
I love that.
at least it's got lots of sequins.
There are some positive. Oh, look at all the bubble lights. My heavens. We can just get a string of bubble lights. What do you know?
They're very cool.
I need to add some things. We try to still do. I still decorate because it makes my living room tolerable for the dark times. We've talked about that. And I think we put up 1 strand of lights on the front of our house this year. It's lit.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
There's
got lights
things
up
out there.
We did a couple. I do 2. I'm so anal retentive. Nothing makes me crazier than like when you drive down the street and people have different colors of different lights on different things. So like this bush has blue lights and then this one has white ones.
Right.
And it's like, no, fucking stick with the color.
Match.
Like match everything.
Figure out your color scheme.
Symmetry is important.
Look at the joy. Judgment.
Like, I know I'm terrible, but I'm like, oh no.
Your fun
you
is
did
wrong.
that all wrong. It's terrible. So I have 2 bushes in the front that both have white and they're, one's on one side, one's on the other. And then I've got
symmetrical.
Multicolored lights in the middle.
Oh.
But I couldn't do it any other way.
They're just
it's either all white or all
understand.
colored, or it has to be balanced somehow.
So what were, like, decorating? Did you travel? Like, I guess this is sort of the holiday tradition thing. Did you travel to different places as a child? And were there decorating kind of themes? You mentioned grandparents' house and like the gold Santa under the tree.
Yeah. We yes. So for tradition wise, we did Christmas morning at my mom's house. It was all different and weird after the divorce. So everything gets all mucked up there. But Christmas was always done at my house. Christmas morning was, and then I would do Christmas like the night, Christmas night at my dad's. I think it's hard to remember. But yeah, we would go to my grandma and grandpa's house.
Okay.
As a kid, we also my grandfather's sister. So my great aunt and great uncle and everybody would go to my great aunt's house as well.
Oh, right on.
And that would be like, I want to say that would be like the night before Christmas or something. Anyway, some big family get together, and that was always really, really fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Not very far away. It was just a
nice.
quick car ride away, so not a big deal. But yeah, that would be like one of the little family traditions. Yeah.
And did those feel like because we talked earlier about like the difference between like obligation and tradition, and did that feel fun to you as a kid, or did you have a sense of like, ugh,
I think it was fun. I think it was fun. I think it was like just it was kind of one of those, well, we have to do this, but also it was just, it was
a good time.
Yeah, it was a pretty good time. So
all of my family was like out of town. I had family in Kentucky and family in Fort Wayne. So I think what my parents did is they would switch holidays. So we would either go to one place for Thanksgiving, the other for Christmas, or like vice versa.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it was a mixed bag of like memories in terms of, I just remember that the Fort Wayne holiday, all of the furniture was covered in plastic.
Okay.
So it was sort of like
50s
kind of furniture, but it was all like had plastic casing around it, and it had like a white couch and white carpet, and then the Christmas tree would be like kind of perfectly in the front window, and then the presents were all there. Oh, we were going to talk about this, gifts and gift giving.
Oh yeah.
And the presents were there, and then my grandpa would hand out gifts one at a time.
Okay. Yep.
And everybody was there, so all
he was
of my
playing
uncles
Santa
and all of my cousins and all of their spouses, and we were all dressed.
Mm-hmm.
We had to dress in a particular way.
Wow.
I would all go into the front room, and he would call the names off of the gifts, and we would have to watch each individual open their single gift.
Yep.
It was torturous as a child.
So
yes, I've set you up because I know you have stories.
So my family, that is absolutely the way you do it.
That was like my dad's face. So there's one side of the family. So
my growing up, my mom, my grandmother, and my sister and I.
Uh-huh.
It was only 4 of us, right, at Christmas.
Yes.
And there would be the tree, and there would be the most ridiculous comedy of riches you've ever seen as far as presents.
Yes.
There were 4 of us. There were so many presents underneath the tree. Like, and I say this like I say this out of utter and complete embarrassment now, because it really was truly an embarrassment of riches. But tons and tons of gifts.
Uh-huh.
And at least that's my memory.
Right.
In my memory,
For
right?
Sure.
Like, maybe it wasn't that bad. I'd have to talk to my sister and my mom about it. Was it really that bad? But we would take forever to open things.
Okay.
And it was partly because that was tradition, right? You got your pile of presents.
Uh-huh.
So my sister and I would separate things out for everybody, and you'd have your place to sit. That was your chair, and that was it. And around your chair, your presents would be piled up, and you would have your pile. And we would go around the room and open a gift, and there would be a lot of talking about it, and a lot of like showing it, and a lot of explanation about why we bought that particular gift for you, and the whole like reason for everything.
Aww,
it was really kind of fun.
Really,
I mean, it's super fun
because it's thoughtful.
Oh yeah, lots of discussion, and then you keep going around, and there'd be the occasional. Well, nobody could start anything until after breakfast. That was another rule.
No,
you could do your socks.
At
the table,
your stockings. Okay, cool.
But you couldn't open presents until after you ate. So it was very structured.
We're gonna stretch this day out.
Oh my god, it would go until
spent a lot of damn money on those presents.
3:30 in the afternoon.
No,
I am dead serious. It was a whole thing.
Oh my god, no way. We are off and done in an hour and back in bed.
Oh no,
it's like we're sleeping.
Oh no, this was structure, big time.
I love that.
And then
so
once you went around the room, and you could start to see the end of your pile, then you had to count. And you'd be like, oh, Lesley, you've got 5 presents.
Oh, no.
Megan has 4 presents. Or Megan has 3 presents. You've got to go twice.
Because it has
so
to
then
be
it has to be
fair.
even.
And then,
then
they
you would go
probably
back around
make
until you
do
were done.
2 small ones so that it wouldn't be bigger.
You had to
than
be
the
careful.
one.
Like, you had to know what was in each package because maybe something went with something else.
Of
and you would ruin
course.
that one
You
if you
don't wanna
didn't
do
open
that.
them
Oh,
in
hell
the
no.
right order.
Nothing more disappointing than fucking that up.
So ridiculous.
If you got the batteries before the
right
present.
before the Atari, then what?
Sucks.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So anyway, that was our Christmas. It was ridiculous, but very structured. And so
Okay.
when we got married and my daughter came along, I brought that tradition to my family.
Oh.
And so it was, you had to have breakfast. You could do your socks at breakfast.
Okay.
But then it had to be very structured. This is where you sit. So my daughter, I know, has this in her head too. Meanwhile,
Yes, ma'am.
then I would, after getting married, go to my in-laws' house, and
Do they listen to this show?
It's bedlam.
Oh.
It's bedlam.
okay.
Like, my father-in-law gets up and he grabs a package and he brings it over to somebody, and you hold it, and like and
Everybody gets one.
everybody just starts tearing into shit, and you have no idea if what you got somebody is something that they wanted or if they even opened it, like, because you've got too many things happening at once. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
But I think that's kind of awesome in a way, because then it like relieves you of the pressure of having to
I hate
either
it so much.
placate like act happy about a gift or be disappointed.
I guess, but I want to know that, like, I want to watch you open something and you can't actually see anything happening.
That's true.
Oh, it's just crazy.
So you're
So
like
ask
both
me
a-
if I'm looking forward to going, because I'm not.
it's crazy.
It's the
It's too
worst.
much. It's just
too
so
much.
fast.
It's just, yeah.
There's probably somewhere
And it's
in between.
done like that. It's just done too fast.
Oh, it's like over really quick.
Right. Like, we're not there until 3:30 in the afternoon.
No. I mean, you really should have to work for all of the money that you've put into those gifts. Yes, those fucking ornaments. Those things.
Those are
So
cute.
sorry.
Like the little, like, stuff, or the little.
They were like
sewing
clay
kits, right?
and the date and all the
Oh,
things were
yeah.
on them. These were ceramics.
Oh, yeah. Little ceramic guys.
Man, I could go down another rabbit hole on my brain.
I will say, like, my first time having Christmas with the kids
Mm-hmm.
was alarming.
Why?
Well,
Because
I
we
don't-
sort of are in between those two. We
Right.
aren't super structured, but we're not total chaos.
Super structured. We're not super chaos because the kids self-regulate and like
Yeah,
want to see what
they
each
are
other.
interested in what each other is
Yeah.
getting, so they're like, "What'd you
But
get?"
the
Show
part of
me.
it, is the time thing
Yeah.
Oh,
because
well,
no.
yes.
our son does not, or at least
In
when
the
he was
past.
younger, you can barely contain him
Okay.
Oh,
leading up to,
Christmas is all that there is in the world.
and then
The best.
and then like it's my first year. We've only been married 2 months.
Yes.
And we stayed up late wrapping all the presents.
Way
making
too late.
Everything was done.
Probably like 2 or 3 by the time it's
Yeah.
all done.
No, it was 2. And I
2.
know it was 2 because of what happened. Because at 3:30,
He's
The-
awake.
and he's at our
His little
bed.
body. He's like, "It's Christmas. It's time to get up." That was the earliest one
3:30.
ever.
That's good.
And
That
we-
was the earliest one ever. And it was never that early
No,
again. But
no.
it was the first year. It was
But-
extra exciting.
But like, I was like, you got to go to bed, dude. And he just, all I hear is welling up. And it's like, nope, we're getting up. We're getting up.
Everybody's
Yep.
getting up.
And did. I mean, he went got staff. Everybody got up. Got his sister up. We were up. And we did Christmas from like 3:30 to 4:30. I think we were all back asleep by 5.
Yeah. We literally did 3 days in one that day.
It
Oh,
felt
wow.
like, yeah, because we were.
Because
It
we got
was
up
wild.
to do that for him and like did all the Christmas stuff. And,
Yes.
And then we all went back to sleep.
Comatose.
And then we got up again, had breakfast. Their dad came and got them to take them to family Christmas. We went back to sleep again.
And then got up and finally like at 11.
Yeah,
Oh,
we got up
man.
at 11, and then we just, it was
But it's just so different in every family. If you celebrate Christmas, not all families do. It does have a very like Euro-Christian, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Kind of vibe. Some people celebrate the solstice. Some people celebrate Hanukkah. Like some people don't do holidays at all. But man, it's very specific.
It is very.
Did
you
from family to family?
When you were a kiddo, did Santa wrap gifts? Well, was there a Santa?
Yes.
And did Santa wrap gifts or did Santa leave gifts unwrapped under the tree?
Santa wrapped gifts.
Okay.
There was a Santa.
Okay.
Santa wrapped gifts and they were under the tree. They were like added to. There were presents from parents.
Okay.
And then the next morning there would be magical gifts from Santa that were wrapped that were there.
Interesting. Okay.
That was my experience as a child.
Okay. So mine was there was family gifts wrapped under the tree, but Santa gifts were unwrapped and under the tree. So like Santa shows up and like just leaves stuff unwrapped.
It saves you so many hours.
Well, and also like what happens if kids see the same wrapping paper?
Oh no, we bought separate.
Okay.
Always separate wrapping
But if you
paper.
found like the extra roll and that you'd be like
stealthy as
shocking.
fuck. Throw that shit away.
Okay.
I
All
was
right.
super stealthy
Okay.
with stuff like that.
But as a kid, like you had
I have no memories of noticing that.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah.
Like if that was true for me, I have no memories of like figuring that out.
Yeah.
But I do remember pretty much figuring out that like Santa wasn't a real thing. And I feel like because I kind of put all the clues together.
Wait, what?
I know, baby. I'm sorry. I put all the clues together. I think I realized that my parents were putting stuff up in the attic and there was like a pull down in our garage and I was able to like kind of confirm it.
Oh.
And I was like, sweet. So then I would like do the checking of the packages to see what was under the tree versus so I could figure out what might be from Santa so that I would know that I was getting the things that I really wanted. It was a whole big thing.
Wow.
But for my kids, we did, because Christmas is expensive.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want them to think that like there's a magic person that brings them everything no matter what the price.
Okay.
So we sort of scaled Santa gifts down to like 1 or 2 presents that came from Santa.
Gotcha.
Everything else was from us.
Gotcha.
Because that's just unreasonable
Yeah.
financially.
Right.
And because then you're answering questions, well, like, why not? It's Santa. It just comes from the North Pole, like all this stuff. And I was like, nope, Santa has a budget. Santa brings you like 2 gifts or 3 gifts or whatever. Yep. And that is all that happened. Because I didn't, I wanted it to be fun for as long as possible. Sure. And it was just fun. Like, I don't think my kids were ever brokenhearted. Yeah. They figured it out pretty quickly, I would imagine, in elementary school. We definitely, as a kid, Santa brought a lot of stuff underneath the tree. Okay.
And my mom actually, when I was really little, my mom tells this fun story of Santa brought me a kitchen, like a play kitchen.
Heck yeah.
Like a big, like made out of like, I don't know, pressed wood kind of whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But it had to be assembled.
Yes.
And they put me to bed, and some good friends of theirs lived like three houses down.
Uh-huh.
And my dad went over there to assemble the kitchen.
Uh-huh.
And apparently like drank an awful lot while assembling the kitchen and got himself good and schnockered so that Christmas morning was rough. I think he went to bed at like 5. Santa arrived at 5:15. I woke up at 6.
Yep.
So that was a little rough. But those kind of fun stories, I think, of like having to, assemble the things.
Yes.
And Santa underneath the tree kind of stuff.
So that kind of transitions nicely into like, is there a favorite gift memory from like the 70s or 80s? Like things that were sort of uniquely of the decade that were special to receive? Yeah.
So I think my favorite present as a kid, and it truly wasn't like anything about the 80s, 70s or 80s really, because it could happen today.
Okay.
But I remember there was I want to say it was Lazarus. It might have been Ayers. Anyway, one of the shopping, big shopping locations, Macy's, whatever. I walked past this display for months with my grandmother, and they had these big, huge stuffed animal foxes.
Oh.
And one was like red and white, and another one was like an Arctic fox that was white. And I want to say they were like, I don't know, 3 feet long, probably, with the tail and the whole bit.
Yeah.
And I loved them. And I walked past them, every single time we were at the mall. And I was like, I want those. I want those. I want those. And that Christmas, I got this big giant box. And in my head, I'm like, the foxes are in there. I know the foxes are in there. And my grandmother, being smart, put bricks in the bottom of it so that it was much heavier than it would be if it were just 2 stuffed animals.
Wise.
And I still knew that the foxes were in there. I was like, the foxes are in there. I know they are.
They are.
And they were.
Oh, yay.
They were. So, in fact, I am 99% sure I still have them in a tub probably in the garage somewhere. But
she thought she was going to outsmart
she
you.
tried.
That was wise.
Did your parents ever do the here's something that you really want, I'm going to wrap it into multiple boxes?
My parents did not. I did. I do that. I still torture my adult children with that. Like when I can, we would like tiny things in like giant boxes.
Yep.
My favorite thing to do.
It's so
in
good.
The world. Yep.
How about you? Favorite toy? Favorite gift?
I think the things. The thing that I remember was the year that we went to Fort Wayne Christmas, and me and all of my cousins, we all got Cabbage Patch Kids.
Oh, yeah.
But not the like ones that came from the Cabbage Patch place that were all soft bodies. It was when they were mass produced and they had plastic heads.
Gotcha.
Not the hand painted ones. And my grandma worked at Sears. And so she like used her discount and must have like seen them when they first came in and got them. Because there were a lot of us little girls. There were like 6 of us, I think. So we all got them. So I do remember that. And that was a very special memory. And then speaking of 80s fashion, the Christmas that I got parachute pants.
Yeah, you did.
I opened a box, and it was probably the first year that like fashion was meaningful or like things were kind of trendy.
The 12, 13, 14-ish.
Yeah, I was like 11.
Okay, yeah.
That Christmas. And I got parachute pants and like a neon yellow sweatshirt and those like mesh fabric belts.
Nice.
Like a black mesh. Yes. And then fingerless like lace Madonna gloves and some bracelets that were like
with
kind
the
of
studs?
like stretchy. No, these were like neon. There's a pink one and a green one. They were kind of springs, but they were super stretchy. And then also the like rubber Madonna bracelets, the black ones.
Okay. Yeah. That you could lace together. You could like do that.
All of the jelly bracelets.
Yeah.
That's what they were called. Yes. So I remember getting those clothes.
Yeah.
And like, that was like a big deal. I was like,
yeah,
my mom knows that I like these things, and she got them for me. So that was pretty cool.
That whole neon stuff, like the off the shoulder like mesh
shirts
that you would wear with a tank top underneath, and
yes,
I had those leather bracelets that had the big metal studs on them.
Heck yeah,
I had a bunch of those, and then I had a belt. My favorite belt was like,
hell yeah,
it was probably 1.5 inches, maybe
amazing
inch, maybe wide, and super long. I'm gonna wrap around me like 3 times.
I love that so much.
That I'm 100% sure that was a Christmas present too.
Yes, I totally remember those bracelets. Okay, so there's like gifty things in terms of Gen X holiday. We talked about food, like recipes. Is there like a Christmas recipe or something specific kind of related to food, or even just like memories that were kind of special?
Yeah, nothing food wise for Christmas. I mean, we were like, nothing really comes to mind. Although Christmas morning was sort of the cinnamon roll.
Okay,
that was always the traditional breakfast. And still to this day with my daughter, like growing up, it was always we got cinnamon rolls.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, that was
like,
just
Christmas. You get cinnamon rolls
every year, and it was partly because it was easy, right? Like if you got them in the tube. I did try to make some. I actually did make cinnamon rolls one year
Mm-hmm.
and had to like do the dough and all the stuff the night before.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, fuck, I'm not doing that again. I was just like, they were delicious, but holy crap, that was a lot.
That was a whole bunch of work.
Yeah. Did you guys have food that was like your traditional?
The thing that I remember that was sort of special around the holiday season, and I think it was a time, there was a lot of like making of gifts between some of like my dad and his siblings, and then my mom would make stuff, and it must have been just much more cost effective. But which probably would not be the same now, but we would make candy. And cookies and all, and that was like tons of different kinds, probably 10 different kinds of candy. And like it would all be boxed up and everybody would anticipate it, and we would spend like a couple of weeks doing that. And that was really special. I can't imagine that would be cost effective.
We
today.
did. My grandmother would do cookies. My mom and grandmother would do cookies, and they would do like the peanut butter ones with the Hershey Kiss in the middle.
Yes, heck yeah,
and
those are good.
She would do like there's these bears that they would make that my sister now still makes, but they looked like bears, like and hand formed, like the little arms, the little legs of them, and everything. And then they would have like a little cinnamon candy heart. Like
how cute!
Yeah, super
adorable.
cute. So that's an old memory too.
Love those.
Yeah.
I remember like press cookies. I love those that you would just make with like a cookie press.
Yeah.
Those were pretty freaking
Those
delicious.
are tasty.
When you were little, do you have any memories of like making gifts at school? Like the legit, like this is very Gen X, like ashtrays.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There was always something that you would make. Yeah. Like,
that you would take home. Or did you ever have Christmas markets like in kindergarten for a second?
Did, yes. And you would go and buy like some stupid little dumb candle that you would be given like a $5 bill.
Yes.
Here's your shopping money.
Yeah.
And then you could go and do the Christmas market and you'd buy like some
totally
crappy candle or something for somebody. Yeah.
And it's all very, I mean, we're in the Midwest, so it's all quite like Midwestern. Everybody's assuming that every child there participates in Christmas,
right?
And
of course,
has the financial resources to do such a
thing.
Right. There was no like thoughtfulness about the emotional
like
impact
what happens
on
if you don't get the $5 bill, right?
Or children that don't celebrate Christmas,
right?
No thought to that kind of stuff.
No.
The classroom gift exchanges. Nobody asked.
Just
good luck. Bring a thing and it's fight to the death.
Yeah,
over
you
the good
don't
gift.
See that anymore.
Nope.
Like
which
is good
for the better.
Right.
Absolutely. It can just be a winter experience.
Right. And there's people who get their nose out of joint about it, but just be inclusive. It's fine.
Yeah. It costs us nothing to let everybody have a seat at the table.
Agreed.
Shoo-wee.
That's a lot of good stuff.
It was good.
That's a lot of good holiday stuff.
We went down some like brain I don't know.
Does
rivers.
Does it make you nostalgic for the old holidays, or are you good with things now?
Some of the stuff, like little. I think the hardest part, just emotionally, was the break because my mom died when I was young, and so there was no kind of like easy transition or a transition of ease, kind of growing up and then holidays changing. Like our biggest Christmas was the Christmas before she died.
Yeah.
And then that was also our biggest family vacation, was that like September.
Right.
And we had a massive Christmas, and then she died in March.
Yeah.
So that was just sort of like the end of it. Like,
right.
I don't know. I think probably more people than we really think about have memories of like, this was the hard end of what was childhood. And then there was the beginning of like a new harsh reality.
Yeah.
And so then reconstructing things, I think it was a challenge. Like as an adult, it was nice to have some autonomy, but just like kind of always looking for that emotional space, but not quite recognizing that it's never going to be the same again. Right. And I love, I think, what we do now. I appreciate all the things that we have created for ourselves now. And we tend to keep it like, it's like, what do we want to do?
Yeah.
Like, let's just keep it chill. And we want to spend time with friends and hang out at home. And I decorate things for myself so that it just feels nice.
Yeah. I did put a tree up this year. I wasn't
You did
originally
do it?
going to do it. Yeah, I did do it. All of my ornaments are blue and silver and and I took a picture of it and I sent it to my daughter and I said, "Hey, Hanukkah tree's up."
Was that's your like color scheme?
This is my whole color scheme. It's
there?
like right now it's like the blue and the silver.
And then you realized you were like,
oh, that's very
like the
Hanukkah tree.
I love it. That's perfect. I think that would be appreciated.
Yeah, whatever. It looks pretty good.
So it's all right. But it does change, if you've had children or not, if you are single or in a relationship, if your parents are still alive or deceased, or you had a good relationship or a bad relationship.
Yeah, it changes everything.
You can fully define this experience for yourself. And there are going to be natural transitions. And that's okay.
Yeah,
and you
it's
can
okay.
ignore it all.
Take yourself to the movies.
Absolutely. Go on vacation, hibernate till it's over. I love those stories. I'm just hibernating till it's over.
Yeah. Because if it doesn't bring you joy, then why worry with it?
If you are suffering because you are trying to meet an obligation, it is time to have an important conversation with yourself.
I think that's fair.
That's
Absolutely.
reasonable.
All right, Lesley, what do you want for Christmas this year?
Nothing.
Wow.
Seriously. We were like, it would be dumb practical shit. That's the other part about getting old. It's dumb practical shit.
Yeah, I know. I want a dining room table.
I need to get
What the
somebody
fuck
on
is
my
that?
roof to deal with this weird leak that we discovered. It's super I love spending time with people.
Yeah.
Though it's okay, I want to have a good dinner. We're going to have lunch with my dad. It's just when you don't have
It's the experiences over the stuff.
100%. That's where we are. And we had an experience and then we're going to have another experience. So we're not buying anything. I have so much things I could get rid of. None of that. What did you hope for Christmas this year?
Same kind of thing. It's just it's the silly stuff. Mm-hmm. It's the stuff that I need a backpack. Whoop-de shit.
And you'll probably buy your own damn backpack.
If it doesn't show up under the tree, yeah.
We could think globally. We want accessible and affordable women's health care.
I would love that. I would give up my backpack for that.
Yeah, totally. We want that. World peace.
I would take world peace. Absolutely. I would give up my dining room table that I'd like to get.
Yeah.
For that.
Make a lot of sacrifices for that.
Absolutely.
And for people to be entertained.
Yes.
On this show. Speaking of which, we should bring in our sort of concluding segment, which is our...
You tell me. 5 minutes of fame. I'm looking at you what? Yes, we have a fun 5 minutes of fame. 5 minutes of fame today. And
friend of the show.
A friend of the show. So what we do with these is we ask people if they have a moment where they've met a celebrity or they've done something super cool, like they won the Presidential Physical Fitness Award in elementary school.
One of these days, somebody's gonna actually
I know. I hope they do.
That.
They're like, I got the certificate from Jimmy Carter.
And right before we started today, you read one because you had just asked this question. You read one about. Because we were talking about Hallmark Christmas movies.
Oh, yeah. That somebody had went to a Hallmark Christmas movie event in Kansas City.
Yes.
In Kansas City and met some of the Hallmark stars. That's so
it's
fun.
So amazing.
Yeah.
We were literally just talking about this.
So goofy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those are those 5 minutes of fame that we really want to kind of celebrate here that are just, dumb shit that happened that we can point to. And so this listener sent this in. You can either email these in to us. You can go to our website, which is genxwomenpod.com and write in 5 minutes of fame, or you can call it in to 1-888-GenX-POD. We have a voicemail set up for that. So, so let's have a listen to this one.
Okay, I'm sure you guys are totally sick of my stories by now, but it's Cindy K, and I have another one for you. I was listening to episode 11 about game shows, and I was on the dating game in 1989. This is what I thought I wanted to be an actress, so of course I tried out for any of the shows. You go in and you audition, and then they choose which show to put you on. And I got on the dating game. And I got a Cindy Brady type brain freeze as soon as the camera light went on, and I could not put together a coherent answer for any of the questions. I was in like this, I don't know, zone out, daze, crazy, whatever. And it was so awful and embarrassing. And when it aired a few months later, my sister was going to school in Las Vegas, and these guys would walk up to her and like accost her and be like, "You're the dumb girl that was on the dating game." And you know, she's my identical twin sister. She's furious with me that I had even done it, and to this day she's still furious with me. It's one of my most embarrassing moments, and it was the worst. That's it. Thanks. Bye.
Oh, bless her heart.
That's our friend Cindy.
Cindy, I hope your sister will forgive
Cindy
you someday.
And Cindy is also an author. She writes sexy Gen X women romance books.
That's cool.
Yep. She's pretty cool.
That's
Maybe
awesome.
We'll get her on to talk about being an author.
We should. Absolutely. We should.
That'd be a good time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cindy, for sharing that and bearing
that's very
your soul.
fun. That's what we're talking about. Dumb little 5 minutes of fame or infamy.
Or
5 minutes of
embarrassment.
infamy.
Like things that you're like, oh yeah, like it's a story you pull out at a party every once in a while. And you're like, would people care? Yes, people care.
People care.
We
People want to
care.
hear that goofy
We wanna
shit.
know about
It's
that.
fun. This has been super duper fun and
been
a
good.
nice, like, nostalgic little, I don't know,
Um,
earwig. I am probably going to have to make some cookies. Now I have
that sounds
I got a desire. to
You
make
have a
some-
desire.
I have a desire to make some Christmas cookies.
I have a desire for cookies. Yeah, I have a desire for lunch.
I want to make those peanut butter ones with a little.
Oh,
Hershey
those are
Kiss.
so freaking good.
Those really are
Yeah,
good.
let's do it. We
Yeah,
should
I'm gonna
make
do
some
those.
Gen X women.
That'd be
cookies.
great.
Happy Christmas, Megan.
Happy holidays, Lesley.
I'll see you soon. Next week, tonight, tomorrow.
Probably later today.
Happy holidays to our listening audience. Thank you so much for your support this year.
This has been great. We just started this in May, and we're super thrilled about how fun it's been.
Yep.
And if you love what we're doing, please share this with a friend.
Yep.
That's the best way to help us grow.
We may have a couple of sort of like transition episodes before we come back in January. There might be like a one that we'll throw in there before we record again. So.
We have a super secret surprise too coming up in January that we won't get too deep into now, but
we've been holding our breath for it for a while.
Really
so
excited about it.
Fingers quadruple crossed that it all works out. It should be a good time. Take care of one another.
Take
Make
care of
good
yourselves.
choices. Don't do things out of obligation. Do them out of love.
Yes. Enjoy your holiday, whatever that looks like.
Yep.
And we'll see you in 2020.
Holy fuck balls.
Peace.
You have been listening to Gen X Women Are Sick of This Shit. Hey, Megan.
Hey, Lesley.
What do people do if they want to find us?
Well, we have a website that people can find us on, and that is genxwomenpod.com. We also have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram account as well. Mm-hmm. We have a YouTube account where we put YouTube shorts and other little tidbits up there. We have a TikTok account.
I don't talk the tick or tick the talk.
You don't tick the talk?
I do not.
I barely talk the tick, but I did put a TikTok up.
We're explaining the internet to people again.
That's
okay, though.
It's great.
We need to know how the internet works. Can people buy merch?
They absolutely can. We have a merch store on the website itself, and we also have an Etsy store, too. So they're just pretty easy to find. It's just Gen X Women on Etsy.
And if you are listening to this podcast, presumably you found it somewhere. And while you're there, give us a review.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Throw some stars at us.
That'd be great. We'll take 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Ooh, 5.
Maybe 10.
And also make sure that you are hitting subscribe so that you're notified whenever a new episode drops.
Most important.
We also have a 5 minutes of fame that I think we should tell people about, too.
Hell yes. We want to know your stories, your 5 minutes of fame stories. You can send those stories in on the website, or you can call 1-888-GEN-X-POD and leave your story for us, and we will play it live in our next episode.
Yep.
2 or 3.
We'll listen to it on a little red phone, just like Batman.
That'd be cool. Let's get a bat phone.
A bat phone.
I think that's it.
I think you're right.